Hi everyone, it's Pola from Pola Quilting. Welcome back to my channel. Today not a quilt, but something I would call a being a mum series. But I will put it in that recycle reuse playlist because that's kind of where it belongs. So I do have two boys, 6 and 9 at the moment, and sometimes they come in with holes in their clothes. And no kidding you, this is a jumper I bought and they have had it once. One of them had it once on them. It have not yet been even washed after it was bought. They went to the sports club during the half term and that happened. So you know, it's easy to throw away something and buy a new one, but I don't like to do it. Like I said, this is, you know, new jumper, and if I can to repurpose it, I will. And my kids are watching with me all the minimalism YouTube channels I like to watch, and they know that it's a waste to spend money on things we don't need, and if we can fix something, let's do that. So they are not fussy yet. I know it may change with the age, but for now I'm happy they are not fussy, so let's go with it. So what you would like to do if you are in similar situation, you know, you have kids or grandkids maybe and they come with some sort of holes, is get yourself a little bit non-woven interfacing, the one you iron on. It's non-woven because you want to make sure it doesn't stretch when you kind of sewing it. Though with the, you know, fixing jumpers probably could be woven one as well. But definitely for quilt we use non-woven one, and that's the scraps I've got here, so that's what I will use. So that's one thing you need. And you need a piece of t-shirt. The best, you know, thing to fix the hole like this in kind of, you know, jumper or t-shirt is another piece of t-shirt. And I had some leftovers from my t-shirt quilt, so I've got a square here. It has been fused, you know, it was bigger piece. I fused it with that interfacing, and I cut a square out of it because that's what I needed for the quilt. And I've got a little bit of pile here, and I'll be working through that with few projects I will be showing you in the next few tutorials. So before we put that, you know, on top of it, and you don't even need a machine to fix it, so that's the best thing. You would like to add that interfacing under it. What it will do is it will secure all of those edges here. Again, you may not necessarily do it, you might like to kind of stitch it through, but I found this is much quicker. And you know, if you have a kids who like to damage their clothes because they are active, then you might like to buy a little bit of that interfacing and keep it at home for those kind of occasions. And this is nothing branded, nothing expensive. I just went to the sewing shop, you know, with the supplies, and I just asked for the lightweight. It's soft, lightweight interfacing, and that's what I've got. So it doesn't have to be expensive. So I will just cut a little bit to put under in the first place. A lot of things, both in quilting and just normal sewing, clothes sewing, is a preference. So if you have a different method of mending, you know, if it's working for you, brilliant. The key message in this tutorial is try to fix the things if you can, rather than throw away and buy a new one. I recently watched a documentary about piles and piles and piles of clothes which are dumped around the world and just not used to the maximum, because we are so following the fashion as a nation that, you know, a lot of clothes are being just barely used and thrown away. So let's just avoid it if we can. And let's just fix the things however you wish to do it. I used this method a few times, so that's what I will show you. But like I said, it's a preference. You do what you feel comfortable with. So now the fusible interfacing, it's got bumps on one side, so that's the glue side. And there will be flatter one on the other side. You want to have a glue towards your hole. And it's good to use some sort of, you know, a piece of cloth on top of the hole before you start ironing. fusible interfacing doesn't like the steam. You just want to have a hot or medium hot iron, and check with your the seller, or wherever you get from. You might have something in the package. There will be instructions how to do it, and that's how you want to iron it on. Okay, so that's hopefully will be now nicely fused. Good. I'm not so worried if the corners are not fused, because the purpose of it is not obviously hold something in place on this side. The purpose of it is to prepare this fabric on this side to add something on top of it. So if it comes off a little bit later and you snip it around, that's fine. And like I said, I don't have anything exactly in that color. I'm just using what I have. I had this black piece of t-shirt already kind of prepared. I've got a blue t-shirt here, but that color kind of doesn't go with the rest of the jumper, so that's a little bit too much. I will use it for another tutorial with something else. And here I will just add a patch. And again, you can use a machine to stitch around if you want, but you can easily do it by hand. And sometimes I prefer handwork than machine. It's just, it's just quite relaxing sometimes to do something by hand. And obviously that doesn't narrow down that kind of piecing or that kind of work for people who do not have machines. So you just want to go and get yourself, I did have a black one somewhere. So what you want now is a thread which will be going with the fabric. Again, depending what you're working on. You want to have a thread which will kind of blend, or thread which will be popping out. So again, your preference, how you want to finish it off. And I will just quickly stitch around it and job done. And the jumper will be ready to use next time. If it was my other sons, that's my older sons, who's quite picky around the colors. They don't mind the quality of the clothes yet, like I said, but they are quite, both of them actually, quite picky about what they wear. My younger son loves to paint his clothes, so what I do sometimes, I just buy white t-shirts, either long sleeve or short sleeve, depending on the season. I just give it to him with the bucket of the paints I bought for fabric, and he just customizes his own clothes. So it's coming up quite cheap, because the t-shirts like that you can buy fairly cheaply, either on Amazon or even in the shop. So kind of works for me. And the older one, he is not so picky about the quality of the clothes or where I buy them, but once he finds something he likes, he doesn't want to let it go. Seriously, he was wearing the same jumper for 3 years, and let's just say that jumper was for size 5 to 6, and he was still wearing it when he was 8, but the clothes he was wearing was size 9 to 10, so you can imagine how funny he was looking like. My husband was very upset about it every time he was seeing him in the jumper, so he couldn't take it outside anymore. He only could wear it in the house. So there was a battle to get rid of it. I had to kind of look for a very similar color of the jumper, and still it wasn't the same when it came. So yeah, he doesn't have it anymore. I did throw it away eventually because it was just worn, but I didn't mind to throw it away because he was wearing it for 3 years every day, and it was washed so often that I don't think I could have kind of gifted it to anyone. And I'm just going with a normal stitch all around. That fabric doesn't need huge amount of securing, because it will not fray. So even if that kind of edge behind the stitch kind of moves, it's fine, because it won't fray. So it will not disattach itself anyhow. And I'll just go around and quickly stitch it. And again, depend how you like to finish. You can use maybe some embroidery floss to add some extra detail, or another square in the middle, put something. There's so many things you can do with t-shirt fabric, with decorating the clothes. I sometimes use that to decorate like a plain t-shirts, or when they made some stains, which they do very often. So I always keep few like basic color t-shirts, even mine t-shirts, on hand, because I keep them for the colors of the fabric, and depending what t-shirt they've messed up, I can then cut out the relevant, you know, colors to either, you know, add the color pop to it or just blend it if I can. So again, there's a lot of things we can do with the clothes we've got, and we don't have to throw it away straight away. I'm not doing anything beautiful or complicated here. One, they will not care. Two, the thread is kind of matched up, so it won't show so much at all. And three, I just want to quickly fix it so they can wear it again. I might even go kind of twice around, just to secure it very well, and job done. There are type of the interfacing which got glue on both sides, which means you kind of once you iron it on one side of this fabric, you could iron on top of the jumper as well, but I did not have it handy, so I'm just using what I've got at home. Okay, I will carry on and finish this side, and then, like I said, I will probably go again in the middle, just to secure it a little bit better. So, like I've mentioned, I've stitched around with that dark thread which kind of blends in with the patch. This is how it looks at the back. That's that main stitch. And then, well, I wouldn't be a quilter if I didn't do something more. So I found the embroidery thread in my box, which kind of goes with the sleeves of the jumper, and I just did, you know, big stitch here with really, like, you know, went around the square, going inside until I finish in the middle, just to add a little bit of detail. And this is how it looks. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial, well, not even tutorial, just a quick video, which hopefully encourage you to look at your clothes and clothes of your children or grandchildren in new way. Let's stop throwing away things if we don't have to. Let's mend them and use them longer. Thank you very much for watching today, and see you next time.